Dr. Gerardo Lopez Mena joins us now to more on what to look out for this time of the year, because a lot of people are spending the time together with family. Everyone's close, so we know that's one key thing. But let's just talk about the most common illnesses during this time.
And most commonly what we'll see is viral illnesses that give you the common cold, upper respiratory infections. You know, the really bad ones are the influenzas. But it's always good to remember that these common colds that are more common tend to lead to complications that are bacterial infections, like ear infections, pneumonia, sinus infections. And so it's important to realize that these viral infections then can lead to bacterial infections.
So you definitely want to take any precautions or measures that you can to keep it from happening. And let's just talk about some of the symptoms that are associated with the flu, because sometimes it can get a little bit confusing to know, oh, it's just a cold, or oh, you have the flu.
Right. And so I think one of the biggest differences between the common cold, which you'll see, you have some congestion, some runny nose, maybe a little bit of lack of appetite. That, to me, I consider the common cold a little dry cough. But when you're talking about having the flu, you start having really bad body aches, muscle aches, the fatigue really strikes you, and the fevers tend to be a little bit higher, more about 101 and higher. And so those are the big differences between the two, I believe. And
that's when you know you should probably go in and definitely get checked and make sure you don't have it. And I want to talk to you about hand, foot, and mouth disease. We really don't hear about it much, but just this week, the health department in Georgia sent out a warning about this disease. What is it and how does it spread?
Yeah, so the hand, foot, and mouth disease is another viral disease. Mainly it's an enterovirus. And the biggest difference between that and the cold, or the common cold and the flu, is the way it spreads. Like you said, it's a fecal-oral route. And because it's that route, you tend to see it in the 5 and younger population. And in the older population, when we do carry it, unfortunately, we don't have as many symptoms as the younger population. And the symptoms tend to be fever, lack of appetite, fatigue, but you do develop a rash in your hands, your mouth, your mucosal surfaces. And as you spread that around, you can have it in your genitalia area, which can be a little scary for the children. But again, the problematic part about that is that we adults tend to carry it, not show many symptoms, and then pass it on to the young ones.
So those are definitely things you want to look out for, is if you have a rash that you could pass it on. Is this something that, you know, people should stay home for, or it is contagious?
Without a doubt, it's definitely contagious. It's more contagious in the first week of illness.
Okay.
And we do encourage people to stay home when they have this, and just really be careful washing your hands. As always, if you touch any surfaces where other people have touched, if you travel, use public transportation, definitely wash your hands as often as possible.
Hand sanitizer too. And really quickly, what are some other precautionary things we can do to just stay healthy during the holidays?
Number one is, let's get that vaccination. And especially if you're one of the most the populations that are more immunocompromised, if you have chronic diseases, if you're younger than 5, if you're older than 65, and if you're pregnant. Those are the populations that I tend to worry about. And again, the chronic diseases like COPD, diabetes, the elderly, older than 65, younger than 5, and pregnant women should definitely get their vaccinations for their influenza. And other than that, you know, we're going to be around family. Let's make sure to cover our mouths when we cough. Let's make sure we wash our hands as often as possible.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
My pleasure.